Hello and welcome to the Czech Republic and the Prague leg of Season 9 of the PokerStars.net European Poker Tour. This is day 5 of a 6-day tournament. 21 players remain from the 864 who started, and today we play down from 21 to our final 8. You're watching live coverage on PokerStars.tv. I'm James Hartigan, rejoined after a long hiatus by Matt Broughton.
I've been very busy. Welcome to Prague. Good to be with you. Very disappointed to see the man with the bow tie is not at the table. More on that later on. But first of all, back to the poker.
Yes, this is our feature table. Obviously, we've got 3 tables of 7 remaining. Now, if you're a regular viewer of EPT Live, you'll know that normally we play down from 24 to 8 on the penultimate day of the tournament. But yesterday, play went so fast, they decided to keep going until they got to 21. This is table 3 of 3, and the story here, Matt, is Roberto Romanello in seat number 7. It's a well-known legend that there has yet to be a 2-time winner on the EPT. Roberto Romanello won Prague in season 7 2 years ago, and here he is hoping to repeat, but he's got some work to do.
He has, because that would be an exciting story if it wasn't for the 17 big blinds. But Roberto Romanello, at least it's a man that can turn it around from this point. It's not all over at this point, but yeah, he's got a bit of work to do, hasn't he?
An international feature table. We have a Spanish PokerStars player, Sergio Espina. We have got a Polish player who's been very popular with the Polish media here in Prague, Mariusz Klozinski. Alaplowski, now if that name rings a few bells, he made the final table of the grand final back in EPT Season 6.
Yeah, I thought that was familiar. That's exactly what went through my mind when I saw his name.
And in one of those glitch in the matrix type situations, Mads Amott is a player who was on our feature table in Barcelona, and we've just been doing the commentary for the TV shows, and we've seen Mads Amott dish out a brutal bad beat to Daniel Negreanu and then promptly eliminate him a couple of hands later. Sergei Kaminsky is a Russian online qualifier, and Mark Herm is an American player who's had a few big cashes, a lot of big live tournament results. He's one of the shorter stacks today with 31 big blinds, but as you observe, Matt, Roberto is the man at immediate risk with just 17 big blinds. I think we've got 50 minutes left at this level, 10-20.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, Roberto's always a positive chap. I'm sure he'll come in here with a plan, had a good night's kip, and I'm sure he'll be moving quite quickly. I don't imagine he's going to drag his heels here, is he?
The objective of today is to get to that final table. Guarantee yourself 75,000 euros. Tomorrow, they'll play for the title, the trophy, and for first place prize money of 835,000 euros. By the way, EPT Live is always an interactive experience, and the best way to get in touch with me and Matt is via Twitter. So if you've got a Twitter account, use the hashtag EPT Live, and you'll show up in our timeline and we can read your questions and comments. Granted, not everyone has a Twitter account. We will be keeping an eye occasionally on the nuts inbox, so if you want to email, it's nuts@pokerstars.tv. But I'm going to be honest with you, you've got a better chance of getting your messages read if you tweet.
You just don't like them to go on, do you? You like the brevity of a tweet.
Yes.
Emails, they go on and on, load of history, load of links, YouTube clips. We want to hear from you, but not for very long, just in short bursts, or multiple tweets, and we'll string them together to make a sentence.
There is an EPT Live free roll on PokerStars.net. Stand by for the password. You're going to have to wait a while.
Who? Sorry? Stay. We're going to be singing some of the announcements today. I'm a bit worried about Mark Herm, because I don't know if his name is long enough, and I'm going to have to find out if he has a middle name, because we've got some tremendous names here. Klozinski, Romanello, Kuzminski, Herm. There's not enough there, is there? Maybe you could sing that in a kind of a Herm kind of way.
Let me give you some facts and figures quickly. Britain's Ben Warrington is the chip leader at the start today. He comes into play with around 2.6 million. Some familiar names to EPT viewers. Ramsey Jalassi is still in. Johnny Lodden, I believe, is the last remaining member of Team PokerStars Pro. And obviously, we can't necessarily monitor the outer tables, but obviously players are going to get moved around. There's a chance those guys could take a seat at the feature table. There is an empty chair at the moment because it's an 8-handed table, but they're playing 7-handed at the start of play. 864 players, a total prize pool of nearly 4.2 million euros. This, of course, being a 5,000 euro buy-in event. 128 got paid, so we're well into the money now. And in terms of the size of the field, Matt, I mean, a lot of people wondered what the refresh, the reboot of the EPT would do to the tour this season. The fact that we see 142 more runners here than last year is impressive.
Very impressive. I mean, that's the thing is, you know, you can wonder whether these are marketing ploys, some might say. But actually, as soon as you see what it does to the fields to like take these attempts to reboot these tournaments, you can see the life it's breathed back here. Huge field.
Chip denominations on your screen now. Just a quick technical observation. We have two tiers of webcast. We have what we call EPT Live, which is where we have the full OB crew and tableside cameras, all the players are mic'd up. This is called EPT Live Lite. We've got 4 fixed cameras. There are no microphones on the players. There are no whole card cameras. So don't expect all the bells and whistles of one of our final table broadcasts from like Barcelona or the PCA.
But it is less calories. So that is always a positive.
Well, action's underway. First hand of the day. And it's been folded around to Sergei Kuzminski.
We've got a couple of different looks here. I know I'm here to try and divert everyone away from the poker, but we've got a half hoodie. We've got a bit of a sort of an Elvis thing going on here with a half beard. He's made his move.
Well, it's Kuzminski who's folded. This is Mark Herm who is raising here.
40,000.
Herm comes into the final table with roughly 30 big blinds, 618,000. And this looks like a 3-bet from Mads Amott. The Norwegian is on the button here. Herm's raise was to 40,000. Just get a count on Amott's 3-bet.
86,000.
86,000 total.
86. The action is back on seat.
With both blinds folding, the action is back on Herm.
Yeah, not exactly holding back, getting jiggy here. First hand. Bit of positional pressure. First decision of the day. Nice easy one.
And with his stack, Matt, when he gets 3-bet like this, it's very difficult for him to just call. He's really got to go with it or just get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it's, you know, you look at his stack and you think, oh, he's not in super trouble, but actually he's not got a lot of maneuverability. If he gets involved in a big hand, he's going to find himself committed to the calls very quickly.
Our first few tweets of the day. Paul Seaton says, not sure Roberto will, but hope he can spin it up. 1 double and he's back in it. I'm in full tuxedo, of course, to watch along, chaps. Wow, that's going back a few months.
No, that's an old, yeah. Yeah, I've not been around for a while, and even I remember that. We'll be talking tiramisus and bracelets shortly.
Matthias says, nice to have the waster back, which is obviously your Twitter handle, Matt. He says, can you please repeat the blinds? We're playing 10-20 with a 3K ante with 47 minutes left at this level.
Yeah, and I imagine both Mr. Roberto Romanella and Mark Herm be keen to get as much work done in this level. And speak of the devil,
a virtual all-in from Roberto. He's stuck most of his chips across the line. An all-in from under the gun. 260,000, leaving himself very little behind.
Yeah, as you say, it sort of pretty much lets you know unlikely to fold to any action here.
I think the action's been folded around to the big blind, which is Mariusz Klosinski. And he folds as well, so Roberto picks up those blinds and antes.
Yeah, and that's going to prove valuable. There's plenty in there at the start of every hand, just to keep chipping away and build up a bit of a stack when the action hand comes for Roberto, so he can make as much as possible if he tries to double himself through. Action's going to start on Sergei Kuzminski this hand. In the green aqua hoodie.
Fold it around to Mads Amott. Had a tweet in Norwegian here, Matt, wishing luck to both Mads Amott and Johnny Lodden, obviously the 2 Norwegian players who've gone deep in this tournament.
Well, how do you know that's what they say? You could just make up anything, couldn't you?
Luka till Gutta. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume that means good luck in Norwegian.
Well, it's just a lucky guess.
Zermatt's made it 42,000. It's Roberto Romanello's big blind. And he shoves.
Yep. There's the triangle of death. He has been asked how much he's got. It looks like it's going to happen here.
So here we go. Can Roberto Romanello double up and get back in this thing? Or will he go out on one of the first 3 hands of the day? He's the player at risk with 10s, and he's run into jacks.
Yeah, not really much you're going to do about that, is there? But of course, there's still luck. Let's not forget, luck is obviously still very, very much in play here in poker. Still part of the rules. That's not luck.
Well, he could catch running cards for a straight.
Yeah, that's silly luck.
I'm trying to keep optimism in the air, but it is not looking good for Roberto now. He's 3% chance of surviving. And that'll do it.
Oh, that's a shame. But, I mean, there's not really much you can expect other than, well, if only there were more cards. If only there were more cards to come, we could keep being optimistic. But no real surprise to see the way that the hand went through.
So, we will not have a 2-time champion here in Prague. Roberto Romanello exits in 21st place.
Still, I mean, disappointing, but actually, 21st place out of the 164 is a pretty reasonable performance for Roberto to feel good about. But, yeah, a shame that we don't get to live the dream of chasing another champion.
And I'm not sure this is a piece of inside information or whether this is a level, but Adela on Twitter says if the Spanish player Diego Gomez makes the final table, he will play in his pajamas.
Well, that's good. I'll counter that. If he does, I'll do the commentary in my pajamas.
So no small blind in this hand. Currently 6-handed. Now that we've lost Roberto Romanello from the tournament. Well, that's kind of ruined our storyline of the day in the first 3 hands.
Yeah, I think we should just leave it now. Come back tomorrow. It's really upset me. And he's such a nice man too.
Mad Zermatt raising here.
Yeah, Mad's been busy. Only a couple of hands in. He's been involved in much of the action so far.
I think he's played 3 out of the first 4 hands. Won the first one with a pre-flop 3-bet. Obviously took out Roberto Romanello, jacks against 10s, and his raise there gets the job done.
Yeah, he's got a big old pile of chips. It's funny, actually, because Mark Herm doesn't... He looks like he's got a big pile of chips, but, of course, nomination-wise, he's just collected lots of little ones.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 big stacks are sat right next to each other here. Mad Zermatt has the table chip lead, not the tournament chip lead. Want to make that clear. He's got 1.78 million, and then Sergio Espina, who's in the 8th seat, has 1.77 million. So pretty close between those 2 guys. And Mark Herm, now that Roberto's departed, is the short stack at the table. The red chips being the 1,000 chips, Matt. So you're absolutely right. He's got the anti-chips.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like he's in better shape than he is, but he's not. He's got, you know, he's got plenty of moves still. 10-20, he's got half a mil.
Alaplowski raising from under the gun +1 makes it 40,000.
Mark in his Elvis glasses.
Is he going for the kind of Wolverine look with that beard?
I don't know. I don't know. We'd have to get Stapes in to give us a bit of guidance on the beard decision. He's a man that knows a lot about beards, but I don't know what's going on there.
Zaplowski's min raise wins him the hand. Paul Seaton says that was short-lived from Roberto. Harsh, cold deck. Ben Warrington, definitely the man to root for now. Likes a sports bet, does Ben.
Ah.
Yes, if you are in the UK, I'm sure you are rooting for Ben Warrington. I believe he's the last remaining British player in the tournament. 7% of the field here in Prague was from the UK. The biggest single country represented here was Russia, making up 12% of the 864-player field.
Wow.
Folded around to the button. Sergei Kuzminski.
Unlikely to let this opportunity pass, regardless of the cards.
Makes it 40,000 to go.
Standard min raise.
He's kind of got an interesting seat here in that, you know, he's got one of the short stacks and then the table chip leader, so sort of you never know which end of the spectrum you're going to run into. He is declared all in.
There goes the triangle.
It's not a small pile to call.
Half of Kuzminski's stack. Madzimot has folded, so the decision is on Kuzminski.
Trying really hard to look through the top of the card to see what they are. Don't think that's going to work. It's been tried before. Nope.
The 3-bet shove gets through, and Herm chips up. After that hand, he'll be back up to 628,000. So, Matt, how are you finding Prague?
Do you know what? I haven't really found it at all yet. I sort of I've managed to negotiate where the taxis were at the airport, and then immediately found the hotel, and that's literally my history within Prague. I was here early in the year. Actually, I was in actually trivia. You know, I do like my trivia. Different casino. 4 things you're not allowed into the casino. 1 was a camera. 1 was a dog. 3rd one was guns. What was the 4th thing you weren't allowed in? Yeah. And I have got photographic proof. I might not have photographic proof on me, but...
Were they listed in order, by the way? So number 1, cameras. Number 2, dogs. Number 3, guns.
Yes. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, that's part of the gag already. But when you find out what the 4th thing is, you're going to think, well, think about the escalation there. Think about what's going on. Dogs, guns, cameras. You know. But the 4th thing you weren't allowed in.
Well,
Prague.
hopefully our viewers can have a guess at what that 4th thing is and use that hashtag EPT Live to get in touch with us on Twitter.
Yep. Get involved, take a guess. I will be providing photographic evidence, just so you know I'm not making these things up. Meanwhile...
Yeah, it was folded around to Herm, and he's raised his button, but looks like Espina has made a pretty chunky 3-bet, which I think declares that he wants Herm to play for the rest. 102,000.
Yeah. It's make or break, isn't it? You can't take this to a flop for a 6 of your stack. Well, you can, but Herm doesn't look very comfortable with that thought.
Just looking from Mark Herm, and more importantly, looking from his results, he doesn't strike me as the kind of player who's going to call for a 6th of his stack and try and play a flop.
Nope. Yeah, that will be the look that so often leads to the fold. Is he going to surprise us? Gradually his body language is looking more and more uncomfortable about the way the world is rotating. Thing is, there's no rush here, there's no panic on if this hand hasn't worked out. Oh, he's gone for it. He has gone for it. All in and a call. Boom.
A very quick call as well, which I don't think Herm will like.
Is it the ace-king of... Aye.
Yes. Herm with the ace-6 off. Espina with the ace-king suited. Herm, the player at risk.
Yeah. He had a good long think and just thought, do you know what? There's a fair range of hands worse than ace-high, but timing was just bad here.
And the weird thing is, this is only the 7th hand of today at our feature table. It's our 2nd all-in, and we could be about to lose our 2nd player. He needs a 6. There are some chop possibilities, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, that gives him a couple of ways out of this without needing to win it.
There we go.
Hello. Lifeline. Yeah, going to need to be hit here, otherwise it's going to get chopped up. Scary as that moved across to the river position. You could just see no doubt heart in mouth for a second there.
A lucky escape for Herm, both playing 10s and deuces on board with an ace kicker.
Yeah, Spina's got to be feeling pretty sick about that. But you could see he wasn't comfortable with that, and it just sort of seemed like he suddenly decided, let's just jump, let's just make something happen. But he's got a bit of manoeuvring space here. He's not in dreadful shape to make a comeback.
That's how they stack up at our six-handed feature table. Some guesses, Matt, on what the fourth thing is that you're not allowed to bring into the casino here. Matthias says a bomb.
No.
Paul Seaton says chewing gum.
No. Both good guesses, though, actually.
And Panagius says ice cream.
That is the correct answer.
No.
Ice cream. I kid you not. 4 pictures at the front of the casino. Picture of, first one was a camera, no cameras. Second one was a dog, no dogs. Third one was a gun. The fourth one was an ice cream cone. So just remember that, kids. Yeah? If you're coming to Prague, leave firearms, dogs, cameras, and your ice cream.
Yeah, I often find that when it's -5 Celsius outside, I really feel like an ice cream.
Well, even if you're being sarcastic there, it's not going to happen.
Raise and take it for Kuzminski, that last hand. Hashtag EPT Live is our Twitter hashtag. If you want to sharpen our timeline, you can use the emails, nuts@pokerstars.tv. We'll occasionally glance at the inbox. We know there's a lot of support in the UK for Ben Warrington. Obviously, the Norwegians are going to get behind Johnny Lodden and Mads Amott. Who are you supporting? Especially if you don't have anyone from your country left in the tournament. Let us know.
Is it a bit early to ask you who you think is going to win? Probably a bit premature, isn't it? So I've just gone a bit early on that one. Suddenly things start going through my head thinking, well, he's got quite a lot of chips, hasn't he? Maybe he'll win.
Fold around to the blinds.
Yeah. Espina still stinging from being robbed of his ace-king victory with the split pot previously.
And these two players pretty equal in chips. Plowski starts with 1.42 million. Klozinski with 1.47 million. Plowski's raising from the small blind. Makes it 50,000 total.
Just going to take it down.
Yeah, I don't know much about Mariusz Klozinski. We obviously looked at some of his results, and he's cashed in a couple of small side events here in Prague. But there are a few members of the Polish media covering this tournament. I remember reading one of the posts on the PokerStars blog that when he won a big pot, they were really excited and obviously thrilled to see him go this deep in this tournament. And that's a useful segue for me to promote the awesome work done by the PokerStars blog team, especially if you want to know what's happened in the days leading up to day 5 of this 6-day tournament. We're coming in at the 11th hour to cover the business end of the tournament, but if you want all the background stories, PokerStarsblog.com is the place to go.
Who came in with the ice cream?
Panagius. With an exclamation mark, which implies to me that he knew it was the correct answer.
Maybe he's been there. Maybe he tried to get in there with an ice cream. Thought I've left the dog at home. I didn't bring any guns with me. I should be all right. Bang on his front with his arms up his back, the cuffs on, his ice cream all over the floor.
We've got a squeeze here. Mads Amott raised to 42,000, and Sergio Espina called, and now Plowski is 3-bet to 130,000. It's back on Amott.
Yeah, wants to know what he started the hand with.
By our calculations, it's about 1.45 million.
It's not your calculation. Someone just wrote it down for you.
I did say our calculations.
Yeah, but you're just taking credit for someone by somebody else's calculations. I mean, I'm not going to pick every single word apart, but can't just take credit for that. Just cash.
The owl was not meant to imply you and me. It was meant to imply all of our wonderful production team.
Well, that's just being silly.
So the original razor folds. Decision now on Espina.
Yeah, Mads was certainly kind of interested in that, but trying to suss out exactly how much Plowski had behind. But with Espina still to play, decided not to get involved. Yep, looks like we're going to get a bit of action, unless he's just trying to take his chips back, hoping that no one will notice, which is...
yeah, good luck with that.
It's a nice idea.
No,
I've always thought you should be able to just take chips and go fold. Just
he's counted out a solid 4-bet here.
Yeah.
So interesting, he just calls a Mott's raise and then comes over the top of the 3-bet from Plowski.
Well, all in very quickly announced there by Plowski.
And it has to be a call. Espina can't 4-bet fold this hand. Pocket tens for Plowski, and I think it might be ace-king again for Espina. Not suited this time.
Wow. Well, hoping to do better this time than last, but going to have to improve.
So Plowski is the all-in player, but if Espina loses this flip, he'll only be left with around 300,000. Well, it's inevitable. You get to this stage of the tournament, you're going to see a lot of these races.
Wow.
That's a good flop for the tens.
Yeah, brings the flush possibility as well. No part of that for Espina.
Espina needs a non-club ace or king.
9 as well. not that Plowski needs more outs, but I like to keep you informed.
The river is a blank. Plowski gets a big double up. He'll now be a big stack. He could well be the tournament chip leader after that double up, actually.
Yeah, that's a massive pot, a huge dent for Espina, who went for a minute ago feeling like he was about to take out Mark Herman, take his chips, and now finds himself in real trouble.
Obviously, we don't know what's happened to Ben Warrington during the first few hands of the day. He started with around 2.8 million, but Plowski's now up over 3 million, and Espina is down to 300,000. He's playing a 15 big blind stack. Fropsy says, yes, we are cheering for the Norwegians. I'm assuming he is himself Norwegian. Go Johnny and Mads. And we have to say hello to Scanning on Twitter, because he's just signed up to Twitter. He says, my first tweet ever goes to EPT Live. Will you follow any big action on the outer tables as well? Unfortunately, we can't Scanning. We just have cameras on our feature table. This is a scaled down version of what you usually see here on PokerStars.tv.
Yeah, obviously, if we hear anything, any movement out there, any other players moving around, big chips up, we'll try and bring you that. But right now, our attention is here with our 6 players.
And Todd Hawkins says, hi from Los Angeles, James and Matt. Good to hear Matt back. Stapes is okay, but you two are great.
Tremendous.
3 a.m.-ish here, but up to watch.
Thanks, Mum.
Good dedication, Todd. We like it. Always appreciate when we've got people in unfavourable time zones who make the effort to join us and watch some live poker.
Also being given a bit of help here with Sergio Ida Espina. We're being told by Jairo Moreno that Espina is Sergio Ido's second last name. Better use Ido, as it's better known as a last name. Spanish people have 2 last names, which is just showing off in my book.
Yeah, the problem is that internationally, and including on all poker databases, he's listed as Sergio Espina. So if we start calling him Sergio Ido, no one's going to know who he is.
Yeah. But thanks anyway. It's good to know these things. I've always felt very envious of the Spanish. Have these tremendous names. Go on for hours. And they all sound really cool. Not like Mark Hearn. I mean, no offence, but he's going to have to work on that. If he wants to make himself, you know, popular poker player, he's going to have to get a nickname or something.
And 11 of the day, it's Plowski who's raised to 40,000, and it is Mark Herm.
Here comes the Herminator.
Like it,
like
it, yeah.
Bit early. I'm just going to try that on for a while. If he gets knocked out, obviously we're just going to take that straight back. Boom.
3-bet gets through.
Whatever happened to nicknames, James? They just sort of just doesn't happen anymore, does it?
It is an art which has sadly died. I say sadly, I mean thank heavens it's died.
Well, it's because suddenly it became your responsibility to come up with your own nickname, didn't it? You know, back in the day, you earned it, someone else gave it to you, and then somebody would say, yeah, hi, I'm Derek, whatever, Big Sausages Johnson. You go, well, why are you called Big Sausages? Well, I just decided to call myself Big Sausages. Well, you can't just make up your own nickname.
Reminder of chip denominations there. The important thing to know is that the yellows are the biggest chips in play. They're the 25,000 chips. Obviously, we will get very excited later on, possibly tomorrow at the final table when the green and black chips come into play. The sexiest chips in poker, and not just because they're worth 100,000 each, but because they look edible.
I'm going to have to pick up on that. They're not as sexy as those rectangular bad boys. Yeah, the old European mackerel tins. Don't forget them. Hey, Mr. Herm, the Herminator.
Folded to him in the small blind, and he is raising.
Plowski, look at him, he's got the horrible task of stacking all of his brand new chips into an attractive fashion. He's taking his time over that.
I was going to say, it's like, what hand will we be at when Alan Plowski has finished stacking those chips?
Oh, the blinds are going to have a fight here.
Yeah, I mean, Madzamot doesn't strike me as the kind of player who's going to lie down. I mean, if you're raising someone like Klosinski's big blind, I think you've got a solid chance of getting a fold. I think Amot defends with a very wide range.
Yep. And now, of course, Herm's made his life difficult. Going to have to play every single street out of position here.
Likes to take his time over his decisions, doesn't he?
Yep. Obviously, the last one we saw him ponder for a long while was before he shoved with his ace-6 off, but must have something stronger here to want to play out of position.
I have been advised by a number of people on Twitter that Mr. Herm's online handle is Dipthrong.
I think Herminator was better retrospectively, but Dipthrong. Okay. Anybody want to tell us why? That'd be great.
It may not be broadcastable.
I know. I just like to know from my own records. The old index cards at home. Go back, write them all out, just in case I get asked back again. 8 months' time.
So 41,000 apiece on the flop. 3 of clubs on the turn.
And the bad news is Herm is still out of position. Very unlucky. After the flop he was out of position, and now again after the turn he finds himself in the worst seat. It's just the way it goes sometimes.
And he's in a situation, Matt, where it's tough to fire multiple bullets when you've got that size stack.
Yeah, yeah. And Madzamot is giving him a good old stare, but he's going to go with it.
I mean, obviously we don't know what Herm's got. He could have a monster hand here.
Yeah.
But if you do just want to represent and try and get your opponent to fold, it ain't easy.
But he is going with it. He has either got the goods or he is just committed to the play. I mean, his situation is improved slightly. The fact that Espina lost that big hand and is down to 300k, so he does have another player to fire into. But the fact that he has gone up against Madzamot, you'd like to think he just either has a really good feeling about what Mads is holding, or he has got the monster, but he's chosen to fire into one of the chip monsters.
I'm not staring at the board. It isn't going to change. Nope, he lets it go. So a decent sized pot for Mark Herm.
Yeah.
Up to nearly 800,000 now.
Yeah. That's great. You know, and he's not far off Kuzminski now, and he's got Sergio to sort of bully around in his position.
All good in the hood, and obviously Plowski the biggest winner of the day so far after just 12 hands. Espina the biggest loser, and Paul Seaton observes on Twitter, I don't love the desperation to race from Espina. A lot of work to get to this stage, and he flips a coin. It's become standard, though. I mean, back in the day, Matt, people wouldn't flip for those size pots, but now it's like you can't lay down ace-king.
No. Well, that's the thing. It's I know the chips are there, and you go, well, you're looking in pretty good shape, but it is the hands, and if people are going to get in situations, you think, well, what hands are you waiting for that people want to play with? I do understand, but As you say, it's the way it is these days. Back in the day when people had nicknames that other people had given them, and you were allowed to take an ice cream into casinos, you know, that is a very different story. But yeah, I get him. I get you, Paul. Seatonometer. No, I can't come up with a nickname for you, Paul.
Just say a quick hello to Nicholas, who says that Ben Warrington, a.k.a. @Benoit1, seems like the one to watch, in my opinion. Definitely interesting to see what he can accomplish here. He is a great online player.
And chip leader at the beginning of the day, which again is always helpful when people are saying, hey, here's one to watch, the guy that's got all of the chips. Thanks for the tip.
It's Mariusz Klaczynski who's raised 40,000. Folded around to the big blind, which is the short stack. Sergio Espina. And looks like he's folded as well. Morton on Twitter says, I have 2 last names as well, but I'm just showing off. Hashtag Norway. It's obviously a Johnny Lodden / Mads Amat supporter.
Morten Holland Bratton. Nice.
I love the way that you attempted a little Nordic accent there, Matt. As you
Did I? Oh, do you know what? I didn't mean to. I was just using that kind of a voice. I like to mix up my voice during the broadcast. We're here for many hours.
Interesting update there. 19 remain. So obviously we lost Roberto Romanello from our feature table, taking us down to 20. And obviously a player in the field has gone as well. So we're down to 19. I believe there is a redraw when we get to the final 16, when we get to our final 2 tables.
Is that usual?
It's something that kicked in at the start of this season.
Why is that? Because there's no specific bubble reflected other than the fact you're down to the last 2 tables,
I think it came from feedback from the players. Obviously, they set up the players' committee with some key regulars on the tour, talking to the tournament staff about things they'd like to see, and that was one of the changes that was implemented at the start of EPT9.
How strange.
I guess other tours, other live events do it, and they felt that it should be implemented on the EPT as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Over the last kind of decade, we've seen, you know, there was a lack of regulation and, you know, go from one tournament to the next and found different rules, and gradually the good rules have lived through and become a bit more standard for no other reason than they just make the most sense and players seem most happy with it. So it's good to listen to the players and actually act on it.
So Sergei Kuzminski's Open has been re-raised by Alo Plowski. It's a 3-bet to 110,000. Plowski 3-betting out of the big blind.
Yeah, and of course Plowski, our chip leader by some chunk, best part of 3 million.
Kuzminski started the hand with just shy of 1.1 million, so it'll cost him around 10% of his stack to make the call. He would be in position.
Yeah. Slight advantage, but obviously Plowski is going to have the all the momentum, unless of course Kuzminski comes back at him. But the way he's acting kind of looks like a call is more likely than a re-raise.
Call 110.
He is called.
Yeah.
And we will see a flop.
And the flop.
It's an 8-high flop with 2 diamonds on it.
Action on 6-1.
Love that. I'm all over that flop mostly. That's just perfect for me. Ordinarily, I'd probably hit the 8 and got one of the diamonds, just in case you're wondering.
Will Plowski continue?
Check.
Check, check.
Yeah.
Check, check. And the current is 3 of hearts.
Well, if they wanted to check a flop,
6-1 checks.
that's not going to have improved much range-wise.
Plowski's checked a second time.
It's kind of one of those where you expect someone to maybe take a shot and hope that their starting hand would win it, and then you think, well, do you check here to to make your opponent bet at you. Now Kuzminski has the option to just take it to the river, which he does.
Check, check, and the river is 3 of diamonds.
Board pairs, it's another diamond. So it's going to get checked down.
Possibly. Well, you think if anyone really cared about the diamonds, they would have had a bit of a pop, if not on the flop, then certainly on the perhaps on the turn with the weakness of the check. But it's going to be high card wins here.
Well, Plowski now decides to bet. This is a super delayed continuation bet.
Yeah. Well, it's easier here because now you know what the cards are.
Yeah.
So I like it personally.
A new form of Hold'em where you don't actually put any money in the pot until all the cards are there.
Well, it just I've never understood why they do it beforehand because there's still cards to come. Is it going to be high card wins? What we got here? Ace King, Ace Deuce.
Ace Deuce against Ace King.
Ace King.
So Plowski decided to bet his ace high on the river. Was called by bottom pair. What do you think about Kuzminski's call pre-flop, Matt? 10% of your stack with ace deuce suited?
I don't know. I mean, it's clearly gone fishing, but the fact that it then got checked down, I guess the more interesting thing would be how much further would he have gone if he'd actually faced a continuation bet or anything on the turn. But, I mean, the ace deuce suited, take a look, I guess, and be a good enough player to know what to do from there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him out of that hand if there'd been any kind of firing from Plowski, which I'm sure Plowski is now thinking, why didn't I just continuation bet? All the books say you have to do it. I've read 3 of them now, and all of them said continuation bet is a good idea. I'm going to try it at some point, but it's a bit fresh, you know. I don't know, mix it up too much.
Fudman on Twitter says, for your information, you can get more Norwegian tweets from the EPT by checking out the hashtag EPT9. I imagine they're mainly in Norwegian, so I might steer clear of those. And by the way, who will be most likely to wear the Finns hats from EPT Barcelona today? If you're asking who's likely to be the big stacks at the final table, might be too early to predict.
No, he didn't ask that at all. He said, who's going to wear the Finns hats? Didn't even have to translate that. I've misunderstood, haven't I?
Yes.
I did it deliberately, just to make you look better.
When they were three-handed at EPT Barcelona, Ilari Sahamias was the chip leader and Joni Jokamainen was the second in chips. So Ilari wore a gold hat and Jokamainen wore a silver hat. And then when they changed round, when Jokamainen became the chip leader, they swapped hats.
Brilliant.
They also bought a black hat for the guy who was third, but he refused to wear it.
No, that's no fun. I'm a big fan of more hats, especially when they tell you where you are, Chip. I mean, from a commentator's point of view, that's tremendous. Maybe you could get a small string that you pull that makes a little flag come up that says all in, rather than the triangles. Just a small flag that just pops out the top of your head.
This is awesome. In the year 2012, Matt Broughton is proposing ditching graphics and replacing them with hats and flags.
You know what? Technology comes and goes, you know. Things need electricity. Hats will always be with us. Hats were with us long before television, and I'm sure they'll be with us long after television.
Let's pick up the action here. The opening raise pre-flop came from Mads Amott, called by Mariusz Klosinski in the big blind. Klosinski checked the flop. Amott continued for 48k, and Klosinski called. Yeah,
certainly. You know, the previous board all deuces and threes and four. This is the sort of board you'd certainly expect the pot to swell before we get to a showdown or somebody take the pot home. And Mott is building some betting chips.
Seat 7 makes a bet. It's 96,000. 96,000.
Amott firing again, 96,000.
Yeah, 96 into 208. Klozinski doesn't look like he's done with this. Those yellow chips, the 25,000s.
And there's a race. C3.
Comes back.
Well, this looks pretty strong. Check, call, flop, and then check, raise, turn.
Yeah.
190.
Yeah, absolutely. Klozinski's not been one of the busiest players, even though we're only 15 hands in here. Yep, and he gets the fold out of Madzamot. Nice little pot there. Now Klozinski's turn to stack his chips up for a bit.
Fropsy's back in touch on Twitter. He says, who is commentating? Barry?
Barry?
Who's Barry?
Barry?
I mean, you and I know most of the people who do this for a living, and I don't know any poker commentators called Barry.
Barry? Barry Greens? No, I don't think anyone's likely to take
Oh,
us.
well, there you go. Our names are on the screen at the moment.
Oh, that's it. Barry couldn't make it. He was due to be here, but I think he had a problem with his knits or something. So, too many hats. Who's Barry? Who is Barry? What Barry were you expecting?
Fair, you did. Maybe he meant Barry Greenstein. Although neither of us sounds like Barry Greenstein, who is American, and we are both very firmly English.
Yeah, because Barry's kind of great to listen to. He kind of makes a lot of kind of noises. It's like some sort of cat.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to confuse people, and they might think Barry Greenstein has actually just arrived.
Oh, look, here's Barry. So what's that? What did you think that pre-flop raise? Barry's going to be with us again later on. Actually, that's the first time I've tried that. That was scary. That was like he was here, wasn't it? James is already regretting that Stapes wasn't available. Didn't take long. I thought, oh, they'll probably be quite pleased have a break from Stapes. No.
The irony, Mr. Broughton, is that had Mr. Stapleton travelled here to Prague, I'd currently be commentating on my own while he's trying to get familiar with some of the massage girls.
Yes, for purely professional reasons, obviously just for research mostly. But I don't think we would have seen much of Stapes.
And number 17 at our feature table. Action folded to Aloplowski.
It's been folded all the way to C1. C1.
Still the chip leader at this table with around 2.7 million.
Mini-min raise. Very likely to do the job at this stage. But the Herminator reaching for some of his tiny chips. That is a re-raise.
It's now 103.
103,000. Nice round number.
Nice.
And gets a fold.
He knew 100 wouldn't be enough. 102 might, but just to make sure, 103.
Herm's stack on the ascent. 850,000 now. Closing in on the million chip mark. Espina, since losing that flip, hasn't really played a hand and has whittled down to 249,000. Apparently one of us sounds like Barry Martin.
That's hilarious.
Sorry to disappoint you, Fropsy.
Yep. I'm sure Barry Martin somewhere out there is still commentating on something. Breakfast probably. Or what trousers he's going to wear. Crazy times on the table. 4 folds. The double F, as we call it. 4 folds. Don't know if your kids are all saying that out on the streets. You've probably not heard that one yet, James.
But I'm going to steal it.
Have it.
46.
46, yeah. A bit more than the min. Mixing up the old Herminator here.
Seems to be the standard MO, though, when raising from the small blind. You make it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And once again, Madzamot will defend.
That's the problem, is if you've got a big stack that's going to defend, those little volume changes, I kind of don't feel they achieve anything. He's either going to get out of there or he's going to come along and the extra 6k is not really going to force his hand. Oh, very quick. C-bet.
5 minutes left on the level, by the way. The blinds will go up to 12.24. The ante will stay at 3,000. The announcement we can hear in the background at the moment is about one of the many side events taking place here at the Hilton Prague.
Yeah, we talked about the numbers of attendance, all the various events. Seen a big boost. Adzamot not looking like he is done with this by a long way.
That is a race.
Yep.
C-bet was 55,000.
Oh, look at the body language of Herm. He looks like this is an all or nothing sort of scenario here. I wouldn't necessarily... I mean, he could be a good actor, but it doesn't look like he's just been caught with his hands in the cookie jar. It looks like he's actually got to make a big decision now. And I don't think we're talking A6 off anymore. Yeah, he looks itchy with a decision. Bit of a lumberjack thing going on there. Could account for the itchiness. Very thick material, the lumberjack shirt. Sorry, I just turned around and realised James wasn't even watching or listening to me. I was just talking to myself about shirts.
I was enjoying it.
Good. No, that's good. You do the legit stuff. I'll just keep making random observations about scarves. I think that's a scarf. I could be wrong. Oh, he really doesn't know what to do with himself here. This isn't stalling. This isn't Hollywooding. This is pain. This is I've got something. Is it good enough?
While we're watching Mr. Herm squirm, I can tell you that when we come to the end of this level, we're going to take a 20-minute break, and during that break, we'll be bringing you a new feature table, so a new lineup of players after the break. Question is, will this be the last hand of the level? How long will Mr. Herm tank over this decision?
And now he's lost control of his jaw. I believe
he said all in.
All in. Yeah, and got an immediate fold. Okay, well, the dwell was worth it.
Well, that means we will be able to squeeze in another hand before the end of the level. One more hand probably at 10:20. Mr. Hennig asks on Twitter, is there anybody from the Team PokerStars Pro in the field? Yes, Johnny Lodden, and it will be Johnny's table that we'll be bringing to our feature table after the break. Andreas has tweeted, coffee, Norwegian laws, and Madzamot and Johnny Lodden on EPT Live to start the day. Go! A lot of Norwegian poker fans out there today. Thank you for joining us on EPT Live. Great to have your company. And obviously great for you that you've got two of your countrymen, two very strong players left in the field. If you want to play along at home as well, just watching some poker, we will give you the password for today's free roll later.
Later. Don't ask for it.
Oh,
no. That will not go down well.
Hi all our players, your tournament will recommence in 7 minutes. We kindly ask all high roller players to please come and take their seats. And if you wish to open your own chip bag, you will need to be in your seat in 2 minutes. Any player who is not in their seat in 2 minutes, the dealers will open their chip bag.
there you go. If you're a high roller player and you're watching this, you've got 7 minutes.
Yeah, I hope if you are listening, you're listening from really nearby.
Plowski's raised from under the gun. Herm with the decision. Don't expect it to be a quick one.
No, I don't mind that. Nothing wrong with a bit of the old deliberate thought. The thing is, at least he doesn't do it for no reason. He's generally found quite a big move or a big decision whenever he takes his time.
Well, there's the 3-bet from Herm. The blinds are folded. It's back on Plowski.
89,000 is the 3-bet from Herm. Back round to the original raisers. Going to find himself out of position if he goes for this.
It might not be a call though, Matt. He could respond with a 4-bet, and
Yeah.
he's going for big stacks.
Yeah.
If you wish to open your own bag, we would
Yeah.
ask you to please take your seat within the next minute.
Worth pointing out that after that last hand against the Mott, Herm did get himself up over the million mark, but now he's got a decision really for all of it. I don't really think he can just flat here. Oh no, it's a quarter of his stack, come on.
No.
He just about had enough to 3-bet fold. Of course, his intention may have been to induce this, but if it was...
Yeah. Yeah, Herm just keeps finding himself in these all-or-nothing situations.
After this hand.
This will definitely be the last hand of the level, by the way. So just to remind you, you'll get to watch some highlights from previous EPTs during the break. While we change feature table, you'll watch Johnny Lodden in action when we come back from the break, and the blinds go up to 12.24 with a 3K ante.
Another big decision ticking over in Mark Herm's mind. Want to fold his way through this break, or does he want to try and make something bigger happen?
I am struggling to work out if he is wearing a scarf or if that is just part of his shirt.
See, I knew I could lure you in. I knew if I mentioned the shirt, I see you're looking all aloof. I thought it's just me and hashtag EPT Live. But no, boom. I think it is a scarf, James. We'll get confirmation during the break. I'm going to go out and tug on it. See if I can find that man with the bow tie as well. I believe the Triangle of Death is about to be revealed. Bang, and it's exactly the same player as he got against Madzamot. Took a while, made the all-in, got the insta-fold, and takes another nice little pot into the break.
A great level for Mark Herm. His stack up to 1.3 million. Espina still the short stack. We'll say goodbye to these guys. We might see some of them later on, but we'll have a new feature table for you very shortly as EPT Live continues here on PokerStars.tv. We'll be back in 20 minutes' time.